Oh, hi there. I'm gonna do a quick little video on Thoma and try him out in a different way than I think he's usually used. And I guess using him at all is kind of a different way than he's usually used, which is not at all. But we're gonna do a full elemental mastery build here, and obviously, as you can see in the clip here, I do some overloads. So why don't we get into it? So the first thing people think about for Thoma is the support for Hu Tao. And I've seen people complain that he does steal some vaporizes, but that's not usually true, and let's talk a little bit about ICD and see why that is the case. So one of the things that limits his DPS is, well, his small multipliers first and foremost, but you can see here in this clip, he doesn't vaporize every hit, right? In fact, he has what's called standard ICD, and on a single enemy here, you can see that he doesn't actually apply pyro most of his hits. And that actually is what makes him able to be used on a Hu Tao team, right? Is that she will vaporize and he won't. But I think there's something that a lot of people don't know necessarily about ICD, and that it is per enemy. And so you can see here on these Electro Slimes, and we can just pretend that this is Beta applying Electro to AoE range here, but you can see he is overloading every hit, and every enemy is taking AoE overload damage every hit. And that is one of the things that he's able to do because of his AoE conal hit. Now, obviously, his damage is pretty low here because he's extremely low level, and overload damage scales on your character level and elemental mastery. And I'm just going to illustrate here. Yoimiya is actually a similar case where I think people have acknowledged that her ICD is standard on her burst, and so she can't vaporize it. But you can see actually she does seem to be also built for overload in mind, and she can apply overload on every hit of her burst. So let's get into the build. Now, it's pretty simple, actually. Really, you just want to stack elemental mastery, but the balance on Thoma is a little bit tough because you got to get enough energy, right? And his C4, as you can see there, does help. And anything you can do to, again, balance your elemental mastery and energy recharge stats will help. And I'm using Dragon's Bane just because I haven't crafted what I think might be a better alternative, and that is the Katane Crossspear. You can see here it has the Elemental Mastery substat, which will be great for his overloads. And it's an easy rotation to use his skill to regenerate energy, and then you get a little bit of bonus skill damage as well. So I think that's going to be like the perfect weapon, and it might be designed exactly for this case. And you can see here I'm just actually not using Thoma. I'm just illustrating the usefulness of overloads for ranged characters in particular, in terms of crowd control. And you can see she's keeping some of the dogs away, but it isn't hitting them all. So here's the case now with Thoma, and how you can see how well it actually keeps enemies away for Yoimiya, right? She doesn't want enemies to be in her face. She doesn't want to be taking damage. And you can see here, I don't even get hit by corrosion here. The dogs are kept away fully, and they're all taking AoE overload damage, and she does benefit a lot from that. Now, this build works pretty well with Fischl, and I actually was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be good for, let's say, Lisa, and it might be good for Yay. But you can see here that there's actually some things you want to factor in. It looks like, for example, his burst hits before Lisa's autos do, so she's actually the one triggering. So you'll have to try it out with whichever characters you want. And again, I don't know if this is a meta pick, but it is certainly a fun use for Thoma, and I think it's a good way to give him a shot if you haven't been yet. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you. Like, sub, etc. Take it easy. Peace.